My dear student, today we shall start another hematological disorders, that is bleeding disorder. So after complete discussion about the myeloproliferative disorder and lymphoproliferative disorder, we are now going to start the bleeding disorders. So as it is clear from the name that these disorders are associated with the abnormal bleeding. This is due to defect in the process of hemostasis. So hemostasis, as you know, that it is a complex mechanism in which following after injury or at the site of injury there is formation of hemostatic plug that prevent the loss of blood. So if there is a defect in the formation of hemostatic plug, that may lead to a development of bleeding disorders. So bleeding disorders are mainly classified on the basis of their mode of development or defect in the various sites which are involved in the hemostatic process. I think all of you know that in the hemostasis mainly three components are going to involve and play the active role. The first one is the blood vessel, the endothelium, integrity of the blood vessel wall. The second is platelets that play a very important role, and third the coagulation system as well as the fibrinolytic system present in the blood. So these are the 3-4 components that play important role in the formation of hemostatic plug. So any defect in these constituent or component may lead to the development of bleeding disorder. So the first bleeding disorder will be associated with the defect in the vascular wall. Defect in the vascular wall. This may lead to the development of bleeding disorder. Defect in the vascular wall means if there is endothelial injury or if there is vasculitis, especially due to the infection or due to the inflammation or due to the trauma or due to the drug induced or due to the hypersensitivity reaction, if this is going to happen, that may lead to the start of endothelial injury, and that endothelial injury initiate development of various kind of bleeding disorders. The second cause is associated with the defect in the platelet function. Platelet has got a very important role in the hemostasis as well as in the thrombosis. So any defect regarding their function, regarding their morphology, regarding their structure, regarding their number, that may lead to the development of bleeding disorder. Especially in case of thrombocytopenia, there is bleeding disorder. There is bleeding. The third group of the causes are associated with the defect in the coagulation system. So any kind of quantitative deficiency of clotting factor or coagulation factor may lead to the start of bleeding disorder. The fourth group is associated with the defect in the fibrinolytic system, and that also initiate bleeding disorders. And less commonly, sometimes if there is a presence of inhibitor of coagulation system or fibrinolytic system, they may also initiate bleeding disorder. And some of the unknown disorder, bleeding disorder, that is known as DIC, disseminated intravascular coagulation, that is due to the multiple factor combination of the above mentioned factor, that may initiate bleeding, abnormal bleeding or a bleeding disorder. So that is DIC. So all causes of bleeding disorder are grouped or divided under 4-5 heading. The defect is either located in the blood vessel wall, or in the platelet, or in the coagulation system, or in the fibrinolytic system, or in the presence of inhibitors of coagulation and fibrinolytic system, or sometime in case of DIC. So these are the some abnormal condition in which the bleeding disorder may start or may occur. The bleeding disorder generally manifests as sometime in the form of purpura or hemorrhagic spot or patches or bruise. Even it may lead to the accumulation of blood in the joint in the form of hematoma or hemoarthrosis, or sometimes there is a bleeding in the mucous membrane or in the subcutaneous tissue in the form of purpura or ecchymosis. So in this way the presentation may occur in the bleeding disorder, but in some time if the defect is very massive, then there is a massive loss of blood following after even a minor injury in case of trauma or in some condition of major operation. So there is a continuous quantitative loss of blood. So this is the usual presentation of bleeding disorder. Sometimes the bleeding can occur in the different way, like in the form of epistaxis or hematemesis or hemoptysis or hemorrhoids, or in the form of melena or hematuria. So various kind, there are various ways through which the blood can spontaneously loss, and the bleeding is not stopped. So in this way, these are the usual presentation of as a bleeding disorder as a whole. So these bleeding disorder are diagnosed in the laboratory by the different kind of test. It is also done by the screening test, as well as the diagnostic tests are available in the lab, and we decide the causes of bleeding disorder, where the cause is located either in the blood vessel or in the platelet or coagulation system. So different kind of laboratory test is done for the confirmation and for the etiological diagnosis of bleeding disorder, like bleeding time, assessment of bleeding time, assessment of prothrombin time, assessment and quantitative assessment of platelet count, even the structural and functional changes in the platelet. Another test that is known as activated partial thromboplastin time, that is a very important test, sometime done. Thrombin time is done for the detection of the bleeding disorder. Coagulation time is sometime done. Sometime quantitative assessment of the clotting factors in the serum is done, like assessment of fibrinogen, fibrin degradation product. So by the quantitative assessment and detection of these tests, we are able to evaluate and diagnose a bleeding disorders. Now come to the another important some general aspect of bleeding disorder. As you know that platelet is the main component that involved in the hemostasis. So any abnormality regarding their quantitative or qualitative abnormality in the platelet may lead to the development of bleeding disorder. So let us try to understand the some normal aspect of platelet. As you know that platelet is a very important component that is mainly formed through the fragmentation of the cytoplasmic projection of megakaryocyte, and it is formed in the bone marrow by the differentiation and maturation of progenitor megakaryocytic cell present in the myeloid series. So myeloid series has got three main components, as you know. One component that is thyroid series, through which the RBC is formed. One component is granulocyte and monocyte series from which granulocyte are formed, and another is megakaryocytic progenitor cell that lead to the formation of platelet. So megakaryocyte progenitor cell first convert or differentiate or maturate into the megakaryoblast. It is followed by formation of pro-megakaryocyte, and then there is development of megakaryocyte. So megakaryocyte is the most important cell, that is the precursor cell of a platelet. It is a large cell, about 30 to 90 micrometer in diameter. It has got 4 to 16 nuclear lobe, and the chromatin is very much plump and coarse. The cytoplasm is abundant, and with the purple granules, and that granules is a very important site for different kind of chemical mediators are present in their granules. So this there is a projection, there is a fragmentation of pseudopod of the cytoplasm, and through which the platelet is going to form, and that is formed in the bone marrow, and from bone marrow it enters into the circulation. The normal count, I think all of you know, the normal count of platelet is what? It is about 1.5 to 4 lakh per cubic mm, and the normal lifespan is about 7 to 10 days of platelet. So this is the normal morphology of a platelet. Platelet is going to involve in both condition, that is, it involved in the hemostasis and also it involved in the thrombosis. So let us see what is the role of platelet in the hemostasis. In the hemostasis, the platelet has got very important role. Following after the injury, blood vessel injury, when the collagen is exposed, the platelets are aggregated at the site of injury, and here it is start to form a initial transient or unstable hemostatic plug, that is known as primary hemostasis. But it is not sufficient. It is followed by another important phenomena or event in the platelet. The platelet undergo adhesion, and this adhesion is mediated via a factor that is known as von Willebrand factor. This factor binds with a receptor present on the platelet surface that is known as glycoprotein 1b receptor, and by which it is going to bind, and in this way it binds with the exposed collagen that is known as ECM, endothelial collagen matrix, where it is going to bind or adhere. So there is a connection of platelet between the ECM with what? With a factor that is known as von Willebrand factor. So this is known as platelet adhesion. In this adhesion process, von Willebrand factor play a very important role. The second phenomena following after the adhesion, the platelet undergo release reaction. A various kind of chemical mediators as well as different kind of substances are released from the granules of a platelet, from the dense body as well as from the alpha granules of the platelet, and that play very important role regarding the initiation of hemostasis or in thrombosis. Like the ADP, a very important substance that causes platelet aggregation. Calcium is released, it initiate, activate the intrinsic pathway of clotting coagulation system. 5-HT, that is known as serotonin, histamine, epinephrine, these are the chemical mediators that are going to release from activated platelet, and they play vascular changes as well as inflammatory changes at the site of injury. Another chemical mediators that are released from the platelet, that is known from the alpha granules especially, that is the fibrinogen, and that fibrinogen, you know that it is converted into the fibrin in the presence of thrombin, which is formed by the activation of a coagulation system, and that thrombin convert fibrinogen into fibrin, and that make a fibrin clot. So fibrinogen is produced, platelet derived growth factor is going to produce, von Willebrand factor is also produced by platelet factor 4 is going to produce, fibrinoctin, thrombosponsdine, factor 5 and factor 8, activated platelet factor 3 that activate coagulation system, plasminogen activator inhibitor are also produced, thromboxane A2 is also produced. That thromboxane A2 is a potent vasoconstrictor and also help in the platelet aggregation. So there are many kinds of the chemical active substances are released, and that may initiate, some of them causes platelet aggregation at the site of injury, some of them causes activation of the cascade of the extrinsic and intrinsic pathway of the coagulation system, and by this process there is conversion of fibrinogen into fibrin clot where the platelets are going to embedded, and that may lead to the formation of hemostatic plug. So this involvement of coagulation system, fibrin along with platelet, thrombin, thromboxane A2, that may initiate the hemostatic plug, and that plug is very much stable, and that is called secondary hemostasis. In the subsequent way, there is a involvement of fibrinolytic system which is already present in our body. The fibrinolytic system is mainly consist of tissue plasminogen activator that convert plasminogen into plasmin, and that plasmin acts upon the fibrin to convert into fibrin degradation product. So in this way it control and regulate the clotting mechanism as well as thrombus formation as well as hemostatic plug formation through the fibrinolytic activation of fibrinolytic system. Sometimes the thromboxane as well as the neurogenic phenomena, there is a transient vasoconstriction is going to occur at the site of injury, and that may also help in the hemostasis. So in this way the platelet play very important role in the formation of hemostatic plug, and that hemostatic plug lead to the stoppage of the bleeding. But if there is a defect in the platelet function or their number, certainly the hemostatic plug formation will be hampered, or it will be suppressed, and that may initiate the bleeding tendency, increased bleeding tendency. So these are the role of platelet, normal aspect of the platelet that are involved in the hemostasis, and any defect in the platelet that may initiate the bleeding disorders. So bleeding disorders, in the second hemostasis phenomena, the endothelium also play very important role. All of you know that endothelium is the lining epithelium of the blood vessel. So this endothelium has also got a very important role in the hemostasis as well as in the thrombosis. So let us try to understand what is the role of endothelium in the process of hemostasis or thrombosis. So endothelium, following after injury, the endothelium is exposed, and that endothelium, when injured, it has got a very important role regarding the formation of hemostatic plug as well as thrombus. First it initiate synthesis of various kind of the substances like von Willebrand factor. All of you know the role of von Willebrand factor. It helps in the platelet adhesion. Tissue factor, that is also very important. It activates the coagulation system, that is the extrinsic pathway is going to activated. Platelet aggregate activating factor, that help in the aggregation and activation of the platelet. Inhibitor of the plasminogen activator, it also help in the formation of thrombus formation. Sometimes it also causes exposure of the collagen, and that lead to the aggregation of the platelet. So initiate the primary hemostasis It also synthesizes prostaglandin I2 that inhibit the platelet aggregation. It has also some anticoagulant effect, like it synthesizes protein C and S that inhibit the coagulation mechanism. The tissue plasminogen activator that also synthesizes from the endothelial cell and that initiate the fibrinolytic activity that control the fibrin formation. Similarly, it in the endothelium also play a role in the formation of endothelin that causes vasoconstriction. It also produces heparin-like substances that causes anticoagulant-like action, inhibit the clotting formation, coagulation formation, coagulum formation through the activation of antithrombin 3. So in this way, a injured endothelium releases a various kind of chemically active substance, and that substance play role in both hemostasis as well as thrombus formation at the site of injury. So these are the role of endothelium. So and fibrinolytic system also play the role. So in this way, you are noting here that in the process of hemostasis, the platelet, the endothelium, the blood vessel wall, the collagen, the fibrinolytic system, they are playing very important role in the formation of hemostatic plug. So any defect, any abnormality, any pathology in this component may initiate the bleeding disorder, which can be detected in the lab by the different investigation. So the first bleeding disorder we shall start in the next class, that will be the thrombocytopenia. So this is the normal aspect of bleeding disorder. You know the causes of bleeding disorder, you know the laboratory test of bleeding disorder, you know the role of platelet in the hemostasis, you also know the role of endothelium, the role of coagulation system, the role of fibrinolytic system in the process of hemostasis, and in the and also we see that any abnormality in this aspect of component that may lead to the development of bleeding disorder. So in the next class we shall start the platelet disorder, how what is the disorder of platelet, especially thrombocytopenia, various kind of thrombocytopenia, their causes, their clinical manifestation and their laboratory finding. We shall discuss in the next class on the heading of thrombocytopenia. Till thank you.